welcome to the first of hopefully many videos just about like drum stuff or musician things in general, or even like maybe I'll do some tech things like on Pro Tools or whatever. This one is going to be about how I run my in-ear mix live, so with a backing track and a mix from the front of house engineer. So let's get into it. Okay, so before you get yourself a monitor mix for live, you're going to need a couple of things. You're going to need obviously a mixer. If you're running backing tracks, you're going to need like at least four channels to input in. But if you're just looking for having a mix from the front of house in your ears, then one or two channels is fine. I mean, the smallest desk you're going to get that's decent is going to be 4 channels. So that's the first thing you need, and then you need some way of monitoring through your ears. So I use Cosmic in-ears. I think they're really good, and especially for the price and you know how they treat their customers, it's really good. So I'll happily use those. And then you're going to need a playback device of some sort. Like most people use a laptop or an iPod. For this, I'll just be showing my phone, but what we use is we use an iPod Live that runs our backing tracks, which include like click tracks and sub drops. So let's get into this. So on my desk, I only use the first 3 channels here. I use mix, click, and backing track. Those are the 3 titles I use. The first channel, the mix channel, is the mix that you get from the front of house engineer. So that can be, you know, your drums, vocals, guitars, everything that comes out of the PA you can get there. So basically, to get that input, what you normally have is a wedge next to you if you're a drummer that will have an XLR that goes into it, and all you do is take the XLR out of that wedge and then you just put it into your desk, and then this is the mix from front of house. And you know, obviously you can ask the engineer to adjust any levels of instruments to suit you better, and then in your ears what you do is just simply, you know, control the volume of it with either the main volume knob or fader, depending on your desk. And then you can control things like the pan of it, so how much of it goes to the left or right of your head, and then you've got a basic EQ section, and then obviously that gets sent to the master section at the end, but you know, we'll worry about that later. So that's the front of house mix. You know, you can also use this in practice. So for example, when I'm rehearsing just by myself, I'll have a microphone inside my kick drum, and I'll just run that through this cable and into the first channel, and then EQ it to literally just make it clicky as anything, and then, you know, turn it up a bit, because even though you're sat behind the kit and you can feel everything that's going on, the kick drum gets lost just because it's such a low frequency drum. And then moving on to the click and backing track channels, you're gonna want to get a stereo breakout cable. So it's all male. One end you've got male connections, one end you've got 1/4 inch jack, and the other side you've got 3.5mm. And when you get a click track, often the click will be hard panned to one side. So our click tracks for the band are on the left side, hard pan to the left side, and then the backing track, like sub drops and harmonies and things, which gets sent to the front of house, are hard pan to the right side. This is just so that through the PA you don't hear any click track. So you want a cable that basically splits a stereo signal into 2 mono signals, one for the left and one for the right. If you get one of these cables, what it usually is anything that's got like a red collar on it or a red dot is the right side. So you can plug it into you know, whichever channel is your right channel basically. So I have my click channel on channel 2 and the backing track with the sub drops on channel 3. And then what's important to do here is pan them appropriately, so that your left channel is coming through all in the left side, and then your effects channel or your backing track is coming through all in the right side, just so you can clearly hear what's going on. And then you can control the level of them obviously with the main level pot or fader, but you know, I tend to run my clicks pretty high and the backing track kind of low, just because I don't really need to hear just the effects that's going on or the harmonies and things like that. I don't really need that. I just want to hear the click. And another thing with our click tracks is on the left channel with the click track, we also have a studio mix of guitars. So in my ears I already have the top quality, you know, guitar sound that's on the record, just with a click track on top of it. So then live it makes it easier for the engineer, because all he has to send me then is a drum mix. You know, he doesn't need to balance guitars because they're already balanced on this left channel, and then the right channel is what gets sent to him. Now how you send it to him or her, you know, just a front of house engineer, is with the FX send pot there. So it's the red one, and it might, you know, the color will be different on different desks, but it does the same thing. So if you want to send in more of it, then you obviously just send more with this knob, you know, turn it to the right, turn it all the way up if you like, that's cool. And then on the master section there's also another FX send pot, and you know, you just give him as much as he needs or as little, and then it gives it to them through a mono channel. But that's sending it to this output here, this FX send output. And then to actually give that to them, you need another cable. So it's male jack to male XLR, and all you do is input that into your desk, and then the XLR end just goes to where all the other mics are input on the stage. So the wall box, or if it's just a snake that just runs to side stage, that just plugs straight in, and then it feeds to whichever channel the engineer chooses, and you know, they can do with it what they like. But it's important that all the other channels that you're using, so for me channels 1 and 2, my FX send is on -infinity, which is obviously the lowest it can go, but that means that absolutely no click track is going to my front of house, and none of the mix that's coming into my ears is going to my front of house. You know, this would cause all kind of problems live, and it would just be entirely unprofessional basically. And then the last thing that you're going to need to plug in is obviously your in-ears. So don't use the main out channel, just because in the main out channel for you can either choose left or right. You can't have a mix of both, which would completely defeat the purpose of, you know, panning here or panning your mix. So you just want to plug your in-ears into the phone's output, and then that's it basically. So you'll have your click in your left ear. Oh, drop that. You have your click in your left ear, your backing track in your right ear, and then your mix, whichever side you choose to put it on, if you put it straight down the middle. And that's kind of it for an in-ear mix. And then, so if you're live and then the sound guy says, yo, I need more backing track, you're not giving me enough backing track, and both of your FX send knobs are all the way up, what you can do is use a gain knob that will be on your desk at the top of the channel strip, and you can just adjust that. But by adjusting that, you're also going to have to turn down your level on this white pot here for what's in your ears, because that will greatly increase the volume of whatever's happening in your ears. So just be careful that you don't, you know, blow your ears up doing that. And then the main section, again, that's for you essentially. So this fader, I just have mine all the way up at 0 all the time. You know, I've got this bit of tape here to stop it going any higher, because then it distorts in your ears and you get all kinds of clicks and pops, and it's not nice. So, and the same deal with this white pot here. I just sort of have it at like 1 or 2 o'clock, and that's it. That's it. If you got any questions, you know, shoot me a message. Sweet. Well, hopefully that was informative, and I don't know, you enjoyed it. But you know, if you've got any questions, just hit me up, like send me a DM. And if you've got any ideas of videos, literally anything drum related, music related, like tech related, like if it's microphones or mixing and stuff like that, you know, just shoot me a message. So peace.